So the big question is this: how do aspiring real estate investors like us escape from the rat race and build real wealth and freedom without access to millions of dollars in investment capital and start to live the life that we know we deserve? This is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Zack Childress, and welcome to Real Estate Investing Talk Show. Hey guys, this is Zack Childress. Welcome back to another Real Estate Investing Talk Show. You're joining us on the Blog Talk Radio, and I encourage you, if you're listening to me on YouTube, or if you're listening to me on the podcast, or if you're listening to me on the radio, you should jump over on our Facebook. That's where our community's at. That's where we grow. That's where we get to ask questions to each other. So I encourage you, go over to REISuccessacademy.com/Facebook, REISuccessacademy.com/Facebook, and join us on Facebook, because we got some great fans on Facebook, and I'd love to see you over there. I'd love to see you participate on our Facebook page. That's where you can ask questions. But just on the radio channels and the podcast and all that, you just get to listen. You don't actually get to engage. So join us on Facebook. It's important that you do that. What we're talking about today is finding investments for free, whether you're going to acquire them yourself for a rehab, acquire them for a rental property, or even if you're just going to wholesale them or do some type of tier 2 strategy with them. I encourage you to know that there are free ways to do this. How do I know that this is a reality? Because we do a 2-day immersion class, and we put anywhere from 30 to 40 investors in a room, and we have them all dial for free. No paying for leads. They just dial for free leads, and they acquire deals. And we can, the last one we did, we generated an estimated 1.1 million in projected profits. The one before that was close to 600,000. So the classes just keep getting better and better, and the students keep getting better and better at understanding what they need to do before they get to the 2-day immersion. But let's just talk about some things real quick with you. I got some notes here I want to cover with you. But when we're talking about free leads, we're talking about leads that don't require us. My computer battery's about to go dead. Uh-oh. And I don't think we found the charger, did we? What was I talking about?
You were talking...
Oh, free leads is we want to have multiples of these. So one of the right out the gate that you need to be aware of is free leads from Facebook or from agents, from real estate agents. Okay, you can go to any agent out there and you can set up your criteria. And what do I mean by that? That goes back to knowing your market, knowing what the average house is that sells in your market, knowing the neighborhoods that you need to be in, and so that you can take that to your agent and say, look, only show me properties that come up in these neighborhoods, in these price ranges, first day on market, 90 days on market, price adjustment, things of this nature, right? And the reason that that's important is because you need to set that relationship up early so that you can then automate that, and it just comes into you every single week or day as those leads pop up. So it's a huge resource for you. Now, the other thing I want you to understand is people ask me all the time, Zack, how do you work with so many agents? Well, I only have one primary agent. But I work with every single agent in this business, and here's why. Because every other agent that I communicate with, I let them know very clearly. I say, listen, I don't need you scouring the MLS for deals for me. I have an agent that does that. But if you ever get a pocket listing, if you ever get a listing that needs to be sold quickly, and give me a call, and I'll make you an offer before you even have to list the property. And it might show up for a day on the MLS or 2 days, whatever, but I can be the first offer in on that deal. So agents are very important. The other thing that you need to spend time in is going through like the online newspapers, the regular papers, the pinch a pennies, the penny savers, things like that. You need to be on those sites, or in those papers, or on those newspaper sites. Newspapers.com is one. And you need to be always looking for motivation. Motivated, must sell, need to sell, fixer-upper, things of that nature that shows that the seller has some form of motivation that they need to sell quickly. And that is where the rubber hits the road in most cases, is are you actively putting the time in to find these types of leads and services out there. And the other thing about the newspaper is you need to be in the rental section. Let's talk about this real quick. This is all free, okay? So don't come to me saying you can't find leads, because I'm going to say you're not trying hard enough. That's what I'm going to tell you right out the gate. There is massive amounts of leads out there. You're just not tapping into them. Here's something that you need to write down and be very clear on. If you want to do 40 deals a year, you need 40 marketing streams, 40 of them. You need to do one marketing stream for every lead or deal that you want to do. So if you want 10 deals a year, then you need to have 10 marketing streams. And all you need to do is expect one deal out of each marketing stream. That's important to know. Rental ads. There are people who are renting properties because they're burned out. And let me tell you something. They're renting, and you need to get on the phone with them, because here's the beauty of a rental ad. Not only will it give you a burned out landlord, but it'll also give you a buyer, because if they're not burned out, then they're probably what? Wanting more. So as a wholesaler, you want to find those guys, right? You want to know who they are, and if they're interested in buying more, you want to put them in your buyers list. This is why it's so important that you work the rental market. And I'll also tell you this, that more deals are wholesaled that are cash flow type properties than there are fix and flip properties. So write that down. The other thing that you want is you want to build your relationships with your title companies. They can't give you information from a closing, but they can refer you to whomever needs a buyer. So what does that mean? Well, they might have a closing getting ready to close, and the buyer may not qualify or may not have time, and so they're going to be pulling out, where you can step in and they can refer you to the seller or the seller's agent and say, well, here's somebody I know that might be interested in buying. So the other one is property management companies. You just need to pick up the phone and start calling them and asking them, hey, do you have any burned out landlords? Do you have any landlords that just aren't taking care of their properties anymore? You know, I'd love to step in and buy those from them and leave them with you for management. Those are all streams that you can start to control that are all free. Okay? Free, 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 free. This is really about free leads. One of the things you also need to start thinking about is code enforcements. There's a lot going on with code enforcements, people just not taking care of their buildings, and the city is stepping in and violation, and you can go down and get those reports. And a lot of times the reason that they're not taking care of the property is because, A, they don't even live in this area. They don't live here. So therefore, they don't know. They can't see it. So we want to get those people on the phone. We want to talk to them about the property and all the things that we can help them with. And so I encourage you to do that. Another avenue is any type of appraiser out there. Appraisers are always appraising properties, doing all kinds of things. They're in the network. This isn't really, if you understand, this is about building your network. There's outbound dialing for for sale by owners. There's outbound dialing for rental ads. There's outbound dialing for property management companies. There's networking with appraisers, networking with code enforcement companies, networking with attorneys. Getting attorneys on your team is huge, especially like probate attorneys, eviction attorneys, because a lot of times eviction attorneys get a list of people that they're evicting, and those sellers may not want to deal with that headache anymore, and they just want to get rid of the property. So you want to be on top of that. And building your bird dog team, property locators as we call them, getting that network built up, getting that team put together so that you're in the right moments at the right time with the right people bringing you the right types of deals. And I encourage you to build that. One of the other things that you really need to focus in on is driving for dollars. Now, why is that important? Well, let me tell you something. I learned this a long time ago. 16 plus years ago, I learned this one. And that is, I would take somewhere new home every single day. I would go a different way to work and a different way home so that I could drive through neighborhoods and see what's out there, see what looks shabby, what looks abandoned, what looks vacant, what looks like an opportunity. And that's the thing you need to be aware of. When it comes to free leads, they're everywhere. But they're not instantaneously unless you're outbound dialing. Unless you're using the phone, you're dialing out. But the rest of them come through your network, okay? I'll give you an idea. I got presented a fourplex, super cheap. $15,000 a month for $80,000, right? Anybody would jump over that deal. But how I got that fourplex was because I know a guy who knows a guy who knew a guy who ended up with a property that they didn't want, and they came all the way back through that pipeline, and it got back to me. I didn't know the seller directly, but it was about my network. It was about letting people know what I do, letting people know how I do it, and then they start sharing the information, and more information gets shared, more information gets shared. And that's something that you need to be aware of, that you have to understand. If this is your business, you got to be talking about it all the time. You have to be talking about your business with everybody that you go to, everywhere you go. This is your business. People won't know that you buy houses or you're in the house business of being a property specialist if you don't tell people what's going on. And so it's highly important that if you're looking for free leads, number one, you got to get your outbound game dialed in. Number two, you got to build your network. You got to let everybody know, from attorneys to appraisers to bird dogs to property locators to code enforcements to the meter readers to the postal lady or the postal man. You got to let them all know. You got to let them all. Look, even in my kids' school, I let them know. The principal brought me deals. I wholesaled one of them. They brought me other deals because why? I let everybody know what I do. Everybody. I'm visiting the doctor this morning, getting an allergy test done, and my doctor knows that I buy houses, and he's telling me about a house that he saw that, would I be interested in it? Like everybody I talk to knows that I do real estate, and that is my conversation with everybody. And so it's important that you build that model around you. If you're just starting off, it doesn't matter. You need to let them know, hey, I'm getting into real estate. If you find any deals, I'd like to know about them. If you're seasoned and you think you're doing just fine, you're not. You could do more. You got to let people know. That's what today's message is all about. It's about you acknowledging that you could do more on a regular basis, but it requires you to get out there and not always using the excuse. A lot of people use the excuse, oh, well, I don't have money for marketing leads. That's not true. There's free leads out there. Co-wholesale. You could JV a co-wholesale deal like I did Brett Wade. Found a wholesaler with a deal, found a wholesaler with a buyer, $12,000 assignment fee. He collected $4,000 off that assignment fee for putting that deal together. And he never had a buyer. He never had a seller. He never spent $1 on marketing. Guys, you got to understand something. You can tell yourself constantly that you need this before you get started. You need this before you get started. You need this before you get started. But the reality is at the end of the day, you don't need anything but the will to get up and go do it. That's all you really need. If you have that, then you're in for the long run. So I hope you guys are enjoying your time with me. It's short and sweet, but I'd love to see you on Facebook so that we can actually answer your questions. Hey, this is Zack Childress, your real estate coach. I'll see you guys again next week. You've been listening to the Real Estate Investing Talk Show. I'm Zack Childress, and I'm on a mission to create 10,000 real estate bosses over the next year. Will you be one of them? Head over to my website, reisuccessacademy.com/web class, and register for my free web class where you'll discover how to escape from the 9-to-5 grind and become your own boss in real estate. See you there.